It's your boy Big Ben here. Welcome back to the Focus project where I'm putting a 2-liter Ecoboost in this 2012 Ford Focus SE. Came with a 2-liter Duratec from the factory as well as a 5-speed manual. I'm reusing the 5-speed manual and putting it on the 2-liter Ecoboost. I am looking to have a lot of good content jam-packed into this video here, so stay tuned. I do have the wiring harness and PCM. Let's go ahead and get that on. Does that sound good, buddy? Oh, and guess what? I'm going to run a straight pipe from the bottom of the catalytic converter all the way back to the muffler. There's my new catalytic converter right there. The purpose of doing that is to bypass the factory resonator, that big old thing in the middle. Get this monstrosity out of here. This is the PCM out of a used 2014 Ford Focus ST, likewise with the harness. PCM's bolted up in there. Let's just start laying the harness where it goes and hook it up. Kind of like a puzzle. You see this little retainer here? Look at that hole. It goes right there. So that means that's where she goes. A little bit of rust prevention. Might go back and put some paint there later. Transmission ground. Got things hooked up here. Once again, all I did was just kind of hook these harness retainers up on the valve cover, and that kind of lined up these ignition coil wires, and then from there everything else kind of lined up. This drop down here connected up to that wastegate actuator or whatever the heck that thing is. That thing's got some barnacles growing in it. That is the connector for the boost pressure sensor that goes on charged air cooler. Don't spend $100 or $150 on this connector at Ford. Go on eBay. They have one for $15, brand new. Oh, did I mention you're supposed to get a stupid bracket that goes right here before you can mount the alternator and AC compressor? I was like, why is my alternator not lining up? So that's on order. And once again, taking a breather here, putting this, gonna get this exhaust on. Bolts to the turbo right here with this clamp. There's a gasket that goes right here, right there. I've got this portion of the SE exhaust I'm going to be putting on to the end of this downpipe here. And once again, I've got 5 foot of exhaust pipe. I'm gonna bypass the resonator under the car. Put it all together with one of these. The factory exhaust piping is 2 1/4, and just so you know, it is the exact same diameter as this catalytic converter pipe for the ST, so woohoo! Well, so much for that plan. After the resonator, it steps down to 1 7/8, so that's probably too small for an ST. Time to look for an ST catback exhaust. Okay. Be prepared to spend money nonstop if you do this swap here. The trick is to get a donor car. Find one at a junkyard to strip down. Do that. There's the rest of that there old factory pile of junk. Junk. Okay. I might just get a Focus SE catback in case there's any differences on the SE and ST underneath. I know FS Works makes a catback kit for the SE. I don't know. This is how I'm getting the catalytic converter down pipe down in here. I popped the shifter cables up and pushed it down through there underneath the fuel line. Working my way above the steering gear there. Grab down here and push back. Got a catback exhaust on order from FS Works for an Focus SE. Reason for getting a Focus SE exhaust is because I have the SE rear bumper. The ST exhaust comes out the center. And rather than buy an ST bumper, I bought an ST exhaust. I do have my blow-off valve routed to true vacuum. Let me show you how I did that. It's really simple. This plastic line that connects to the blow-off valve down there comes up here, and originally it ties in right here. I just disconnected that line, capped it off with a vacuum cap. Got a $20 box of Chinese silicone tubing off of eBay, and ran it right through here. Had to adapt it to a bigger piece, and then goes in right here. That is the factory block-off nipple that was in there that I'm utilizing. I did cut the end of it off because it was blocked off, but now it serves as a pipe that mounts into the manifold and can accept this hosing right here. Perfect. Fast forward time, the axles have arrived. And the axle bracket. Again, y'all, if you're going to be like me and use the 5-speed on the ST engine, just so you know, I have an ST bracket, an ST right axle, the long one, and a 5-speed left axle. Got new heater hoses, including that one that goes all the way down to the front to the thermostat and the degas bottle. And if you're using an escape engine, you can use the regular Focus SE heater hoses. The benefit of doing that would be the fact that there's significantly fewer O-rings on these heater hoses here. Alright guys, let's take a quick detour before putting the axles in. My ST steering wheel came in, so what do you say we get this factory one out? The upper shroud comes off. Turn the steering wheel 90 degrees like this. There is a square right here you go in, go to the bottom and pull up. and that'll release that side. Oh, this is not fun at all. Okay, I've got kind of a bigger screwdriver in there, flathead. Once it was under the release tab, I kind of rotated it, and I grabbed onto that steering wheel, airbag trim, and pulled outwards, and it came out. And while I was unlocking the other side, that side locked back in. All right, I've got that screwdriver keeping this from popping back in, and oh my goodness. Well, that just happened. That means I got to do this all over again at the junkyard to get another one of these. That was the biggest pain in the butt out of anything I've ever done on a car in my life. And I don't know what this is, but something broke. The spring came out of one of these retainers right here. Take this 24 millimeter steering wheel bolt off. It goes to 35 foot-pounds. Might want to put a touch of Loctite on it before you put it back in. There she is, boys. Don't rotate the clock spring while the steering wheel's off, or you might misalign it and cause it to pop. Just a little update here. This is the ST right-hand axle that I bought for the car. It does fit fine into the MTX 75. However, the issue I'm running into, this is a brand new ST axle bracket that I bought, because the MTX 75 axle bracket has a different bolt pattern than this engine has, so it doesn't fit. So upon putting this on, I noticed that it doesn't line up with this, because the MTX 75 is not exactly the same. The hole for the axle's in a different location in relation to the axle bracket here, so that doesn't line up. So at this point, I'm going to figure out what in the world I'm going to do. All right, boys, I'm going to go ahead and try to make a custom axle bracket here. I've got a 12-ish by 12-ish piece of weldable sheet metal. I'm going to cut it in half, lay this on here, drill out some holes here. Then using this escape axle bracket, I'm just going to kind of cut it off right here, try to be even. Mock it up down on the car, see about where it needs to go on here, and then mark it with a permanent marker, and then hopefully weld that on there. And it is kind of thin. It doesn't flex very much, but I do think I'm still going to double it up. And if I cut this a little too shallow here, and there's a gap between the bearing and this, it's okay, because I can shim between the engine block and this, so I can put it out further toward the bearing. But here's what I've got done so far, using these Hercules cutoff wheels. But holy cow, she is flooding out there. They ain't got over the fence yet. Over down in the holler, you see the mud running? Them old mud rush. Okay. Ben, back at you. The exhaust came in from FS Works, the SE exhaust that I'm putting on the Focus ST downpipe. I got some good news for you. I've lost 40 pounds in the past year, so I'm no longer Big Ben, I'm Normal Ben. No. The SE exhaust fits on here. I did actually lose the weight, but I had to cut about 2 inches out of the mid pipe for it to fit. But don't worry. You're worrying. You're worrying. Look at you. No, once you cut the 2 inches out, you get you one of these band clamps and put it together. And the rest of it is peanuts and almonds. The ST upper engine mount kind of sits differently than the SE mount. So if you look over here, she got a twist in her. That mount is twisted like this. And that doesn't line up anymore. It's about 1 inch off. There is one other person in the world who's done this swap. He said he got this $400 engine mount from Diamond Motorsports and modified it to make it work and have everything line up. I'm tired of spending money. I've spent almost $5,000 in parts on this so far. So I'm going to try later on, probably in the next video, to shim that mount. I do have a new mount on order, factory one, just because this one's ripped and torn apart. But I'm going to try to shim it right here and just try to let it sit down evenly. And maybe that'll line up the bottom mount again. Who the heck cares about this mount? We'll see what it does after the fact. As you can see, it's kind of tilted to the max right there, and there's still a gap right here. So it's kind of pushed as far as it can go this way. But anyway, yeah, hopefully shimming that will line up the bottom one again. I won't have to do anything crazy there. Got the exhaust on, guys. Oh my goodness, what a relief that is. On to the next nightmare. To anybody concerned, that template I cut out of this thin sheet metal that I was going to use for the axle bracket, you know, welding that little thing on there, welding this on there. Don't worry, I'm not going to use that thin stuff. I've got a 1/4 inch thick plate of steel, aluminum, ordered. I'm going to use that template and cut out that aluminum and have it professionally welded together. So nothing to worry about there. But holy cow, now that that exhaust is on, let's do some wrenching. Let's get that stupid bracket on here. Okay. And I do have the injector harness, so I can pull the intake off and put that on. Boom, 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 boom. Doom, doom, doom. Line the dowel pin up. I hope that's on right. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I hope I have the right bolts for that. Ooh, that'll fit. It appears that one takes a stud. Oh, good thing I have one. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. I better secure the bracket to the block too. Time for the high C compressor. Apparently there's no dowel pins on this AC compressor? Huh? Okay. Uh-oh, this bolt won't get tight. Uh-oh. I think it's stripped out. No, we're good. The bolt I had just wasn't long enough. Let's get this intake off of here, shall we? I cleaned the intake valves with zip ties the other week. Get this injector harness on here. Always inspect for dust, rust, and birch before you connect stuff. Click. Click. And numero quattro. Don't forget your knock sensors. They're part of the injector harness. I'm going to connect the alternator while it's all open in here. The Focus SC alternator cable fits. Slash starter cable. That's reused. Got this Wicked Witch of the West back on here. Field coil. Click. Oh, there's my new eBay connector that was $15. That's a little bit of goop I put in there. Okay. This knock sensor connector is supposed to go right here on the intake. You see where those two holes are. However, the clip's missing for that. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll zip tie it on there. Injector harness bulkhead connector. Click. Anybody want to hook your boy up with some AC lines for an ST? It is like a sauna in here, even though there's no insulation. Look outside. The mounting clamp for the turbocharger that came with this A premium catalytic converter did not fit. This is an OEM clamp. Also, here's another discrepancy. If you use a 5-speed on a 2-liter EcoBoost, the shifter cables touch the catalytic converter. I punched down on that shield a little bit for fitment. I'm going to try to get some of this around the cables as well, just to protect it. Cool tape? I don't know, dude. I bought an OME fuel jumper line. Okay. And she fits. Snaps right on. I mean, that's what it called for an ST. Your boy got an OME purge valve. I'm going to end this video soon because I'm hungry. I'm sorry. Guys, you want my videos to be a little longer? Let me know in the comments down below. Here's where the purge valve mounts, in case you're curious. Right up in here. Oh, that is a terrible view. Right there. It's starting to look like a car again. That's too tight. High side fuel pressure sensor. Click. Manifold absolute pressure sensor. Click. Zip tie. Oh, this part is so much more chill than being on the cold hard floor on my back. Messing with the exhaust, fighting the mounts. Get yourself a lift, guys. I need one. All right, so before I close out the video, should you put a 2-liter EcoBoost paired with a 5-speed MTX 75 in your Focus? No, get you a 6-speed. It's going to require a lot less modification, fewer headaches, a little bit more money. However, apparently something with the ST subframe or the steering gear is different with the SE. So expect you're going to run into the 6-speed's going to get caught on the steering gear. I mean, that's what somebody just ran into who's in my Discord server and was trying to get my help. So, I don't know, expect to swap the subframe and steering gear over and stuff if you do a 6-speed swap. and get you guys a donor car. Find something at a junkyard to go strip down. Don't buy everything online like I did, because before you know it, you're $5,000 deep into parts and you're not even done yet. But that's not the point. This is a pretty cool project. I'm enjoying it for the most part. Hope you guys are too. Let me know if you got any questions below. If you plan on doing the swap, I'm interested in hearing about it down below. Also have a Facebook and Discord group. If you join a Discord, I can help one-on-one with your issues, and so can other people in there. Have yourself a great day. See you next week, and take care. Okay.